All right. How about Bruce and Dave, eh? I'm not paying the $500, said my angry client. I said, hey man, either pay the $500 or don't pay it and see what happens. That was an 824 Renfrew. Now, the guy who helped me find the spot is here, Mark Steffich. There you go. He said, it was an old dry cleaner. We fixed it up. Anyway, there was a lot of events like that where people didn't want to pay. I think you should have known because Steve, that sold tickets on the shop, went wandering in the back giggling, and everybody tried to get out of the line of fire. So at 824 Renfrew, my technician Ed had a really, you meet people in the arts, sometimes they have a really bad attitude and they have talent and they're really bad people, but Ed was all the above. I couldn't have done anything without him. He manufactured everything. He built boxes. Just a couple of weeks ago, I got back an old mixer and had Ed's writing on it. We made all these monitors, all these speakers, and a lot of them are still around Vancouver. So Ed Weather was a big part of the shop in those days. Steve Neal sold tickets. My son went there almost every day. And then magic things started to happen. I didn't have a lot of money, so we had a repair guy named Vern, and he was a drunk, and we had a repair shelf that said to Vern, and another repair shelf next to it that said back to Vern. He was not amused, right? So what happened, a guy named Charlie McNary brought me this giant sound system inside a U-Haul van. And he sold me everything. So he said, I tell you what, pay me over a year. I said, okay. The van didn't really work because it was one of those old U-Hauls, Adventure and Moving, orange. So we parked it in the back of the shop. 2 weeks after that, a guy named Mark Stadnick, Lance Question, that just passed away a little while ago, had a giant 5-ton Ford van with a lift gate, and he sold me his sound system, and he threw in the van as well. So we had that parked out back. Now, about 3 weeks after that, there was this this TV show called The Heights, and they had a hit on the radio, something about an angel. Anyway, so the guy comes to my shop and he says, do you have any old beaten up speaker boxes? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. So we went in the back, we went in the U-Haul, we put up the ramp, which is all I have left of the U-Haul. We went in there's all these beaten up old speaker boxes that were looking for landfill is what they were. And the guy said, tell you what, man, I'll rent all the speaker boxes and the truck by the week. And I said, oh, that's pretty cool. I said, I'd spend it for $100 a week. I said, but the van doesn't work. He says, that's okay. We'll tow it, and the film guys will fix your van. So, now, that show only ran 6 months. But I got $100 a week for 6 months, and they brought back the van perfectly working, and I sold it the next day. And but what happened right around there was what led to the rock shop being what it is. I was able to take that stuff and rent it out and make payments to those guys as I went. And then I gave it to people that, as they went, and they were able to pay me. Everything was done in a handshake. It was a really, really good system. I had a big club system in a cube van, and it had like 40 lights. You'd almost have to start a dam to run enough power to run 40 lights, bass bins, amps, and these guys would have it all packed up, and they'd be on the road for months with this van, and they'd pay me every week. And then I had another system that would go into clubs like Coconuts. I don't know if any people are old enough to remember Coconuts, Huey's California Dreamin', and I'd phone the band that was coming the next week. I said, hey, you don't have to load in. There's already a system there. They said, okay, cool. Anyway, that was the rock shop on Renfrew. We all learned to work in that neighborhood. It became a hydroponic place, and then it became a hair salon, and now it's, I don't know what it is. So it looks super sketchy. So 824 Renfrew, that's where my formula started for a bunch of people working together. Alternate financing for the love of music. 824.